you believe in the paranormal? There have been many mysterious phenomena reported worldwide. Eyewitness accounts to the unknown and often debated. Well-known documented events and studies, and we want to know. Is there something beyond this existence?
Can you say thank you?
Can you say thank you with one color?
Oh,
yes,
thank you.
You're
welcome.
Join us on our quest as we try to unravel the mystery of life after death.
Ghost Hunting 101.
So what is paranormal? Paranormal is beyond the range of normal experience or scientific explanation. Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts, and some may even say the chances of the Mets winning the World Series again are all paranormal. Science was once convinced that the earth was flat and disbelievers were burnt at the stake as heretics. Human nature's natural instinct is to belittle what we don't understand. Many were taught from a young age that spirits do not exist and won't even entertain the prospect of it despite all the evidence. Scientific researchers admit that they only understand 25% of the world around us and 50% of the human brain. So what is science? Observation, theory, hypothesis, experimentation, and analysis. And when it comes to paranormal, this leaves a lot to be discovered. The law of energy states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed in a closed system. All energy in the universe has been made, and our physical bodies are merely containers for our own personal energy. If the body is a container and it dies, its energy is released back into the universe the same way that air is released back into the atmosphere when a balloon pops. Does it remain intact with all of its knowledge, experience, emotions, and identity, or does it dissipate back into the environment and lose everything that it was? This is a critical question and one of the keys that we seek to unlock. Spirits are composed of weak energy and are not capable of manifesting themselves into sound or sight until they come in contact with a greater amount of energy that they can borrow or take altogether. Anything electronic, lights, cameras, batteries, cars, EM pumps, and even human beings. Human energy is borrowed, which is why we can feel lethargic during or after an investigation. It's why hairs on arms and necks stand up, because it's a physical response to their personal energy being gathered. We become the battery which helps them connect to the physical world. Higher emotion equals higher energy. When you become angry, you sweat, you stammer your words, and your skin gets hot. Now imagine a vortex of emotions when there's murder, rape, or traumatic death. All these emotions become supercharged. Extreme loneliness, depression of a broken heart can elevate your emotions. Unless you're Kristen Stewart. EMF is a term that you will frequently hear. It stands for electromagnetic field. This is a physical field produced by electrically charged objects. It's called electromagnetic because it contains properties of both magnetism and electricity. EMF fields are present in the world around us, and if you subscribe to the assumption that ghosts contain some electrical residue, EMF meters would be a good way to detect their presence. While there are no experts in this field, there are paranormal investigators that think this is a proof of supernatural presence, that ghosts create their own field. Others suggest that these fields can interact with the human brain with what is called a fear cage, causing hallucinations, dizziness, or other neurological symptoms. In many cases, the blame comes down to faulty wiring, causing extremely high and unsafe EMF. So why do some spirits stay earthbound? An earthbound spirit is a human spirit that is not properly passed over. They have not gone on to the next level, the light, heaven, whatever you choose to call it. They remain behind here on earth, and they account for many ghost sightings and haunted places. The reasons for this are varied. Some are complicated and unique to that spirit, and others are simple to understand and relate to. I'll discuss a few of the most common reasons that a spirit remains earthbound. Some spirits remain at or near the site of their own death, especially if it was sudden and unexpected. They remain confused and don't know or accept that they have died. These spirits remain in the area and try to make contact with anyone that passes by that is sensitive to spirits. This type of spirit can be found almost anywhere a death has occurred. Sometimes a spirit realizes that it's dead and that life continues beyond that. They do not go to the light for reasons such as fear that their existence will end, fear of the unknown, fear of going to hell or being judged for their past deeds. These spirits are bound here because of their own fears. Other spirits stay behind to take care of unfinished business. It may be to make sure their finances and their loved ones are okay, to pass along one final message. Often these earthbound spirits do not remain here for long. Once they complete their goal, they normally pass over. If the deed that they are attempting to finish is complicated, they will often contact the living to assist them. In many cases, the living are unsure of what the spirit wants, and it adds to the length of time that the spirit spends here. Almost anything that a spirit feels compelled to do before it goes to the light can make it remain here until it feels comfortable with how they have left things. Guilt can also be a reason for a spirit being stuck here. They may feel like they have left the family or loved ones too soon and uncared for. This is also the main reason why suicide victims and other spirits whose death was caused by their own actions, whether alcoholics, drugs, overdose, remain behind. They feel guilty over taking their life or contributing to their death. The living can also hold a spirit here. By not letting go of them, they can be bound here by our love and unable or unwilling to go on until the living can come to terms with the loss. This happens when people go beyond the normal grieving process and become obsessed with the deceased person. They feel that they have left things unsaid, undone, and they feel guilt over it. This keeps the spirit from going over many times because it does not want us to feel that way or be upset. There are many other reasons that a spirit can remain earthbound. These are just a few of the most common ones. There are spirits whose desire to help people carries over with them, confused spirits who just want answers, and child spirits who just want to play. The popular belief is that a spirit moves to a new plane, heaven or hell, or it resides in the physical plane with us, which causes what we call a haunting. A residual haunting is one of the most common types of hauntings. In most cases, it does not involve a ghost or spirit interacting with the people who are witnessing it. This type of sighting is a remnant of a past traumatic event that happened at or near the location prior to someone's death. For example, an apparition of a woman may be seen repeatedly looking out of an upstairs bedroom window and pacing the floor, or noises without a visual scene may be heard, such as footsteps. This type of scene or sound are repeated over and over and over again in an unchanging loop and often at specific times. Residual hauntings are records of energy that have been imprinted in the area in which the event took place. They are not a direct communication with the living. In fact, they are quite benign and harmless. Some people are more sensitive to observing these hauntings, and typically they occur in older buildings, homes, and battlefields. It is possible to do some historical research of a location to determine the event that might have caused the haunting. Intelligent hauntings are also known as traditional or classic hauntings. It is called an intelligent haunting due to the fact that the spirit is aware of and able to interact and communicate with those living in the physical world. These spirits want to get the attention of the living, and they can move or hide objects, send signals, or even speak to do so. There can be many reasons why an intelligent haunting occurs. In many cases, some entities choose to stick around with their loved ones. For example, grandparents around younger children. Some are unaware that they have died because it may have happened suddenly. In those instances, the assistance of a psychic medium may be necessary to help them cross over to the other side. Other times, the spirit may not be visible. A cold spot, experiencing chills and goosebumps, or feelings as if someone is staring at you are signs. Sometimes the spirit refuses to cross over until a major issue or unfinished business is resolved in family, business, or financial matters. Most of these ghosts are not malicious. They just want to be noticed and have their message heard. Poltergeist hauntings. The word poltergeist means noisy ghost, and the term comes from the German words poltern, which means to make noise, and Geist, which means ghost. Poltergeist hauntings usually take the form of objects being moved, hidden, or thrown, disturbing noises, interference with electronic devices, and physical attacks. Objects have been known to disappear and reappear. Ghosts can be the culprits for these disturbances, but some incidents are believed to be the result of psychokinesis, the power to move objects with the mind, consciously or unconsciously. If psychokinesis is the cause of the haunting, the individual is likely moving the objects unknowingly and unconsciously due to the compounding of some overwhelming stress or emotional angst the person is suffering in life. Poltergeist hauntings have been associated with young adolescent girls. However, they're not limited to that group. The hauntings usually affect a person, female or male, who is possibly under great duress. However, it takes its toll on the whole household or group. Poltergeist hauntings can be sometimes playful or sometimes malicious. When the intent is malicious, objects might be placed in such a way that could cause harm. The hauntings usually start out slowly and increase in intensity until it reaches its peak. This is when the occurrences can be the most dangerous. However, sometimes the disturbances stop abruptly and they're never repeated again. When investigating a poltergeist case, there will be no scientific evidence to be found in the form of EM readings, EVP, and photographic evidence. That is because there is no ghost. In demonic hauntings, the main goal of the demon is to break down a person's free will so that it can take over and possess the individual. The deceptive evil spirit enters a home or location to do harm and destroy all that is good and sacred. The demon not only can possess people, it can attach itself to objects. At first, these types of hauntings or possessions may seem benign or non-threatening. They can appear similar to poltergeist hauntings, as they usually start out with slight disturbances, such as knocking noises and furniture being moved. The demon may appear as a dark shadow in a location, or may first show itself as a benevolent spirit. When the demon finally reveals itself, foul odors, extreme temperature changes, and even physical attack can occur. Demons also have the ability to transform from human to animal. The demon will try to convince the individual that is no longer present. However, it lays in wait to strike at a time when the individual is weak or vulnerable. The demon becomes stronger when it senses fear, and that is a time when possession can take place. Another sign of possession is that the possessed individual becomes fluent in many languages, speaks in tongues, or has gained knowledge in subjects they knew nothing about prior. The individual possessed will become a shell of his former self and become terribly cruel to those that he loved. This type of haunting is not easily resolved. It requires an exorcism. You can compare a possession case to that of an onion, and after an exorcism you peel away just one layer, and after that there's another layer, and many more exorcisms are required until you get to the end. Typically, possession cases often target those that have addiction issues or have weak spirits. Child spirits or something else? I have a hard time believing innocent children are left behind as spirits after death. Kids don't have the ability to decide whether they go to heaven or to hell. They don't understand until maybe they're 10 years old. What unfinished business would a child have that would keep its soul trapped? Now, demons pose as children to try and confuse us. It's possible that darker, bullying spirits use children as bait. Regardless, when you do come in contact with the child's spirit, be very cautious and don't open up to it. One of the most debated topics in paranormal is orbs. Some people believe that orbs are everywhere. From a scientific standpoint, 99% of what people believe are orbs can be explained. The most common culprit for orb debunking is dust. When you walk outside or in a cemetery, you're kicking up dirt and dust. Naturally, if you took a picture, you would see what many people believe are orbs. If you're inside a house and you took a pillow and shook it, you would get the same result. Real orbs do not look like it's snowing. They have a specific flight pattern to them and a sense of direction. But pay close attention, because sometimes bugs are confused as orbs. A strand of hair can sometimes be mistaken for an anomaly. When it's cold outside and you can see your breath, many can mistake this as being a ghostly mist. Cigarette smoke can also be mistaken as a ghostly mist. Whispering during an investigation can be often mistaken as an EVP. String lights are often mistaken as paranormal. This is very common and can happen because the camera uses a slow shutter speed and the camera was moved back and forth while the picture was snapped. The camera will stretch lights but keep other things in focus. This is not paranormal. In this photo, it looks to be a shadow moving around the room. However, this is actually a small army man caught right in front of the lens. Once again, the camera is unable to focus on both the close image as well as the distance. This creates a shadow image much larger than it actually is. When taking and reviewing photos, it's critical to ensure that nothing is in front of the lens to throw off the photo. When examining a photo or video for potential evidence, keep these few reminders with you and try to rule everything out before you declare it as paranormal. More often than not, it can be explained. The human body. We develop senses to detect changes in wind patterns and know when a storm is approaching. We can feel people staring at us. We have millions of nerve endings in our skin to feel the environment. Birds use the Earth's magnetic field to help guide them on their long migration. Mammals can feel winter coming and prepare for hibernation. What many people do not realize is that each and every one of us has felt and sensed a spiritual or angelic presence, but do not know that they have felt this. Some of the most common ways in which you feel a spiritual or angelic presence are smelling perfume in the air when nobody else is around, feeling as though someone had touched you when nobody's there, feeling like someone hugged you or tugged at your clothing or arm even though nobody's there, smelling flowers or cigar smoke, noticing the temperature in the room suddenly changing. You may feel a tightening or pressure in your head, almost like someone's putting a lot of pressure on it. Feeling or seeing in your mind's eyes someone sitting next to you when nobody's there, or feeling as though there's someone standing next to you. Sudden strong gut feelings and knowing. Sudden goosebumps or prickly feeling on the back of your neck. Feeling the presence of your loved ones who have passed over you, or feeling the presence of a pet that has passed over. You suddenly get a warm and calming sensation all around you or on one side of you. Feeling like there's a spider web on your face or body when there isn't. Feeling a soft breeze brush by you or on your skin, almost like someone is breathing or blowing gently on you. Feeling lightheaded or dizzy. Feeling as if someone's in the room with you but nobody's there. Animals and the paranormal. Free will is not involved in hauntings and or crossing over because animals do not have the consciousness to choose. If animals can stay in the physical world after death, it would stand to reason that living beings do not have a choice when it comes to crossing over, that nature randomly chooses who will and will not remain in the physical plane. Or do they possess a soul and have a conscience like we do? Could animals have unfinished business? A loyal dog dies but didn't have the luxury of seeing its master one last time before it died. Would the spirit remain? Could a strong bond between human and animal keep an animal spirit from crossing over? Most animal hauntings are of dogs, cats, and horses, which are animals associated with human relationships. Could animals with higher brain functions become restless spirits, since stories of slugs, spiders, and turtles are unheard of? Another unpopular theory is the possibility of telekinesis, and we lead ourselves into believing a beloved pet is in our presence. With emotional stress, we produce an image of a deceased animal. Owners love keeping the spirit of their pet alive. Haunted objects. People have housed or imprisoned spirits to objects during rituals. Everything hums with its own energy, and they act like sponges, absorbing energy around them, including energy of people. Thoughts, emotions, and even past events can become stored in an object like a recording. Objects that have had spirit attachments can lay dormant until they're acquired by the right person whose activities, energy field, or home energy provide the ideal ingredients to activate. A previous owner may have had a very strong emotional bond and may not have wanted to get rid of the item or see a collection broken up. That emotional attachment can go with an item. The energy takes on a personality and starts activity to get attention. Dolls are the best targets for activity. They're like miniature people, and when children play with them, they animate them. They give them personalities with their imagination and bring them to life. Dolls have been used for spell castings, and in such case, spirits are summoned and lodged into a doll. So next time you go to the flea market and you bring home that fancy-looking antique, you may be bringing back something more.